Hello and welcome to episode 72 of the Fools on a Hill podcast, where we bring you the latest news and our expert opinion on the newest releases in the world of music. I am Cal.
Yeah, we do.
I am sweating my tits off, and I am joined by a very moist Liam.
You could say that, yeah.
Dry.
Yeah, Yanni. Yeah, dry.
Dry.
Dry Yanni.
Yanni's
All
How
around.
moist.
are we?
What? Dry and moist.
Moist? Yeah.
Okay, no
I think
more.
you've hit it. Nail on the head there.
No more
No.
emotions.
Great. I love the summer. I love the summertime.
You strike me as a
Yeah.
person who does not handle heat well, and I don't know where I've got that from.
Me.
Yeah.
They laves
I mean,
himself
I
in the
don't handle
sun.
the sun very well, I
Well, yeah,
burn.
maybe that's what I'm thinking.
but I love everything about summer. I love the bright mornings, even though I'm not really awake for them, and the bright evenings that last forever.
So long.
Even though you're not outside for them.
Yeah, but it's just nice. And the weather, although at times unbearable,
Mm.
at times it just makes me happy.
Those times
I-
being sat in an office recording a podcast.
I'd much
Yeah,
rather
it's,
be. It was so much better when we were actually in the office because the aircon was fucking crisp in that beautiful office.
No,
So good.
I
Freezing
would
cold.
never want to go back there. If I didn't have to ever again, I'd be a much happier man.
I do miss their
um,
jack potatoes.
I bet you missed recording with me in this tiny little thing when it was sweating,
Certainly don't.
and we had
I
10
was-
fans on the go.
I was thinking about it just today when I was sat here with a fan right on me, but I wasn't too hot. I was okay. It's been quite cool today, and
Yeah.
I was remembering being sat in there with you, dying.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Callum,
Yanni.
my good friend
Yes.
of many a year,
Many.
what are you drinking?
Wow. It's nice to be asked, honestly. Well, my favourite thing about the summer is enjoying a crisp beverage. And today, that comes in the form
Chris
Of a-
Beveridge,
of
is he all right?
of a Lout or a Lout by a Brewdog in collaboration with the Peter Crouch podcast. It is a lager and it's a stout. What more?
Ooh.
What more do you want? Now, admittedly, that sounds atrocious.
Mm.
Awful, yeah.
Does sound hideous. And I'm going to pretend that this is my first can, but it's not. And I was extremely skeptical. Do you know what, boys? It's absolutely stunning.
Can we have a
Is
sip on?
I need to
on
say
that?
colour.
I'm
glass?
I'm pouring it right now.
Go on.
I'm pouring it in a Guinness glass because
Sacrilege.
sacrilege.
Oh, that's upsetting. Did
That's
you say
what
it's
we're
in
about.
collaboration with Peter Crouch?
Yes, Peter Crouch. So Peter
podcast.
Crouch has a podcast, co-hosted by Chris Stark. So there's Peter Crouch on the can.
All right.
You're gonna have to
And
watch.
is it in collaboration with the podcast or with Peter Crouch?
Well, with the podcast. So every season they do something a bit out there. This season they decided to make a beer.
Oh, nice.
Why not?
Maybe we should do that. Eh?
I was going to say, if we did that, what would we call it?
Drunk fools.
No.
That was
No.
shit, mate.
All right. The first thing thrown out.
Well, anyway, so this is what it looks like. It does kind of just look like a Guinness with no head. But it's just beautiful. They've got the quantities tip top. Liam, you'd love it. Yanni, I'm not convinced.
I don't like fizzy stouts though.
Well,
I don't like any dark fizzy beer.
are you a lager man, really?
I don't mind a lager. Yeah. I mean,
No, you were
I'm
right about
mostly
the
just a
Guinness
Guinness man.
It is
Right,
just
lovely.
tip top. So
Mm.
Is it more stouty than lagery?
it
Is like a
smells
ruby?
lagery. It's got a stout aftertaste.
Right.
But
Mm,
honestly, I was skeptical, believe you me.
Where'd you get it from?
They just released like a limited run, and it was like £6 for like 4 330ml cans, so that was fun. But
mm,
you got to be
Brewdog for you.
got to be part of it, haven't you? So in the words of the pod, I am parched no more. Cheers. What are you boys
wow. That was sad. I'm drinking Guinness. Sponsored
Just
by
regular?
Guinness.
Regular Guinness this time?
Straight old Guinness. Those cold brews are not getting to it.
I did
What
see
am
them
I
in
doing?
your fridge the other day, just the same. They're going to be there for the the rest of your time
I
in
might
the
just
house.
have
aren't
one randomly sometime and realise
What am I
I don't
going to
like
do with the
them.
one that I kept for you because I hated them so much?
You can pull that down sync, mate.
Oh, it's honestly rank. Yanni, have you tried it?
they? Yeah, I did not like it
No, it's
at all.
very bad. Very bad. Yanni, what are
Seeing
you
as you were
drinking?
last,
I-
I am drinking my Stella Artois unfiltered again,
Wow.
leftovers from t'other week. But this time I'm not pouring it into the
Oh.
half pint glass that it doesn't fit into. I'm just
I've
gonna have it
got
out
to
of the
say,
can.
I know I sent a picture to you guys, but the Alvvays version, I think it's called Le Brassier.
Oh yeah,
That
that
You
one.
can do better than that,
Bro.
Liam. Come on.
Yeah.
Something like that. That is very good, to be honest with you. It's just like Stella, normal Stella, but not as strong, so it's much easier to drink.
Wow.
I honestly recommend getting it. I don't know how
Still-
much it was because
What's this?
we didn't buy it.
Still need to try the unfiltered. I've not seen it since the first time I saw it.
I'm sorry, but look at the head on there. Unbelievable. Nice bit
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable, Jeff.
oh,
That is wonderful.
Lovely
perfect
head.
viscosity. Let's
What three
we're here for a
gentlemen like?
podcast.
Good head.
I think we all have a good head. Here for a podcast about music, I think is the gist of it. We've got lots of gists going on.
A gist.
Callum's got a
Gist.
gist.
I've got a
Yeah.
gist.
There's a talking point here, which Liam wanted to go over. Festival crowds.
Yeah, this is specifically in response to the social media
Outcry.
just like blackout I've had that's purely about Transmit Festival for some reason. Everything, it's all about Wolf Alice. I don't know why. You know when you interact with one kind of thing on Twitter and suddenly everything possibly related to that is thrown at you? Oh shit. Took the breath out of my hand. Apologies for that.
Bum, bum.
Anyway, I'm seeing a lot of posts around the crowd at Wolf Alice who were there just before Lewis Capaldi being knobheads, from what I understand. Now, I completely appreciate that's probably true. I've also got to say, Wolf Alice fans are quite annoying. Sorry, Cal, if you put yourself in that camp, but they're
I
quite
wouldn't
irritating.
class myself as a stan.
Would you not? Oh.
I would not.
It'd be a
but
one,
yeah,
wouldn't
it's just
A
around.
Wolf Alice stand.
I don't know what the conversation is going to be about, but just around how people should act in crowds in festivals when a band they don't know is playing, or even supports. It's the same boat, isn't it?
Well, I can tell you for one, they definitely shouldn't be smoking anything.
Especially the
Um,
devil's lettuce.
No.
No
Eh,
smoky.
No smoke and a cigar. Definitely not. Don't be doing that.
For fuck's sake, a cigar. You're not posh.
Everyone at Primavera.
It was horrendous.
That might be a cultural thing, though, so I apologise for using the C-bomb. Not directed
No,
at
they
different
deserve it.
cultures.
The whole culture deserves it.
Yeah, I hate it when people talk. I know this is quite an obvious one. Fuck off.
Mhm.
Go to the bar. Go
It's
to the
Yep.
back.
yeah. It's more like the full on conversations that wind my head. My head in. What? Wind me up. And do my head in at the same time. Because it is just rude. And someone else could have got your ticket who probably would have enjoyed what you're talking over for one. Just one
It's a tricky one, though, I
element to
guess,
that.
with a festival, isn't it? Though,
Yeah,
when
but-
you're probably going to see certain acts, but you should still have respect. There's, like, don't be
I mean-
push yourself, because people will push their way to the front, ready for the next act, and then stand around talking, getting pissed off at people pushing them around, whatever. Well, you should wait. Like if you know anything, a lot of those Wolf Alice fans are probably going to leave for Lewis Capaldi, I'd assume. That does happen at festivals. We were shocked quite a lot in Primavera by some of the movements.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we moved from one place to another with such ease
Some
is
strong
quite a shock.
movements there, mate.
A lot of movements. But like, don't just stand there and act like a knobhead just for the sake of it. And like, if you don't like the music, you don't need to like the music. No one cares. Just stand there and shut up.
I mean, yeah, there were points where, I mean, fair enough. We went to go see bands that we had some kind of interest in, but even the ones where we weren't like knowing every single song or completely engrossed in what was going on, we'd still respectfully just watch and take it in. And then, yeah, we would talk, but it wouldn't be like full blown conversation about what we're having for tea or whatever.
Hmm.
Especially if
just,
you're
yeah.
in the like the midst of the crowd as well. If you're on like the outskirts or you're towards the back, sure, whatever. I'm sure
I'd
the
feel like a
people that are
dickhead if I
fans
did
there.
that. If I was in the middle of a crowd and I just started like having a full on
Yeah.
conversation with the person next to me, I'd feel like a knobhead. So I don't
I think
get
if
how
you're a
people
fan
can
of a
do it.
band and you're not, I mean, I'm not saying you should be right at the front, but if you're not within kind of the main midst of the crowd and you're towards the edge and you're a fan of the band, you're going to have to expect that some people are not going to be that interested and are just there because they've come to this place and they're at the back of the crowd. But if you're in that, then just, be respectful to
That's-
everyone, to people around you, to the band, yourself.
Yeah.
Callum, what are your thoughts on festival crowds?
Well, I mirror what both of you've so aptly put out into the world. But also, maybe if you just give the act your time of day, you'll come out of it a fan of the band. That's what festivals are for. You're not just going to a festival. Well, you shouldn't just be going to a festival to see one act because.
Pavement.
Well, no, but you know,
we looked out there though. To be fair, we were going just for Pavement.
Well, fair enough. But you also there was other bands that you liked. Like you shouldn't be paying for Transmit if you just want to see Lewis Capaldi. Just go and see Lewis Capaldi.
It's very.
You'll save yourself some money. But I can understand like if Wolf, I can see both sides of it. If Wolf Alice are on right before Lewis Capaldi, there is quite a juxtaposition there in.
Yeah.
In
The
crowds.
thing is, though, it's one of those where I think that a lot of, I mean, everyone loves a bit of Capaldi, don't they? You know, pretty.
Yeah.
Come
No.
on.
No.
And I've seen him live, and he's pretty good. And
Number one fan over here.
I'd assume that the kind of Venn diagram of obviously there's two different ways of doing it, kind of thing, isn't it? I think a lot of the Lewis Capaldi fans won't necessarily be Wolf Alice fans, but the other way around probably is true. If you're a Wolf Alice fan, you probably like a few Lewis Capaldi songs just by the fact that he's bigger. He's been kind of on the radio forever. And so a lot of those people are going to be wanting to stick around.
Yeah. No,
What the original point was.
I get what you mean, but like especially with Wolf Alice, they do have some songs that kind of are more commercial and radio friendly, like Don't Delete the Kisses and Last Man on Earth and things like that, where you'd imagine a Capaldi fan would like it. But
Maybe
but,
it's a scheduling issue. I
just
know when I went to
open your minds, man. Stop being so one dimensional.
when I went to Leeds, we got there early for Arctic Monkeys. Because there was just nothing else on that was that interested to what. And so I watched the whole set of Jake Bug and then Imagine Dragons.
Oh Jesus Christ, you are a saint.
Both of whom I am not a fan of.
Well, I like Jake Bug back in the day, but Imagine
Yeah.
Dragons is enough to make any man.
Painfully boring
I
to
mean,
watch live.
even
though.
his original stuff performed live is horrific to watch.
Yeah, no, I
So
agree.
dull.
But yeah, and Imagine Dragons put on a show, but I can't say I like their music much. But we were there right at the beginning, and between the sets, we're kind of wiggling forward, ready for Arctic Monkeys. We didn't stay there; that's a different story. But you know, I stood and watched. I didn't move; I just stood and watched. And like, you know, I'm making the choice to be here, ready for Arctic Monkeys. These people are making the choice here for Jake Bug. Then I'm not going to interrupt them.
Yeah. Well,
Just
go on.
touching on Transmit Festival, I messaged you guys and said I watched a couple performances.
Mm-hmm.
Paolo, very good. But yeah, you did watch a bit of it, didn't you, Cal? And he did perform old ones.
I watched it.
And did you end up watching it? Did you?
Yeah.
And it just sounded weird, like
really
him
bad.
performing them that way. I didn't. I get that he's trying to make it sort of fit live with the newer stuff, and cohesively it does work, but they're better songs.
Yeah.
The original way, and he's tainting them by making them try and fit. Like I say, the worst one for me was Candy. He started playing it with the right chord, and then changed the second chord, and the melody has to then change for it, and it's not good. It doesn't have the same weight behind it.
I can't remember if I said it on the podcast or if we just spoke as friends, which doesn't happen much anymore.
Sorry?
But when Paolo first came back and did a string of shows, he didn't play anything from
You said this
first
on the pod,
album.
yeah.
So either he was just getting the arrangements of the old ones to a point where he was happy, or he just doesn't want to play them and felt forced into playing them with it being a festival. I can understand him doing that, but people don't want to hear them in that way. So
where did you find that information that he didn't play the first
setlist.fm?
Oh, was it? Okay.
He played that medley, which was it was bad. Then he played the streets, which he played like normal. That sounded like, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's him and a guitar. And he also played Coming Up Easy, pretty close. Obviously, without a lot of the kind of like the brass and stuff, but it kind of like the arrangement was pretty much the same. But yeah, Candy and that medley,
Shit.
God. But then the stuff from Caustic Love sounded fine. But I guess that's a lot more similar to what he's doing on the last album. But like Iron Sky and Scream, they sounded good.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could have just played them as they were. I don't agree with this whole, especially something like Candy where he played it. You're right. He played the same first chord and the second chord wasn't. So that's like just like a completely different melody. It's not.
Yeah. Fucking hell, stop knocking things, will you?
She's got wiggly arms, don't I? It just felt wrong.
It's not a case of him not being able to sing the songs in the original key, because fucking hell, his voice is incredible.
And plus, he can just change the key.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And just play it.
But,
he plays Through the Echoes a different key, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And that's still, like you say, that sounded
still fine.
Fantastic.
Fine. Understatement of the century.
It's even better that
I meant
the whole crowd sort of knew the words and was singing it back. You really felt that.
Back.
And I messaged you about Everywhere.
Oh,
that blew me away.
That was amazing.
I was crying, genuinely crying. And then I watched what I thought was going to be the full Stroke set list. For some reason, it's only a couple of songs, and for some reason, to add more reason onto the sums, they kept in the bit where Fabs, was it Fabs? No, the other guitarist that isn't Albert Hammond Jr. I can't remember his name. Amp just stopped working. And it was just them talking about it, and then Julian putting like auto-tune on like an effects pedal on his voice, and Fab's drummer playing like a little synth thing, and Julian just making up a stupid little song. They kept that in, and then that got fixed, but it was just the tension on the stage was so uncomfortable to watch. Just from like 4 songs they performed, like Albert kept on sort of like intentionally not playing as well as he could, kind of thing. Just sort of like, I don't really care. Like, there were parts where he was just clearly sort of looked frustrated playing. And then obviously the other guitarist, because the thing didn't work, he was obviously just fuming at that. And then Julian was just, well, being Julian, and he's not really cared about performing for 10 years. So yeah, it was painful to watch, unfortunately.
Well, that doesn't make me as sad that we didn't see him when they did that festival in Lancashire the other day.
Yes.
But to go back to the crowds and to Paolo, I thoroughly enjoyed watching several bucket hat fiends, Dark Fruit Boys, trying to get involved at least. But that's the mentality you should have, even if they might like Paolo Nutini. I'm not here to judge a book by its cover, but I can't imagine they went solely for Paolo. But they were still trying to get involved, and I'm sure there was plenty of pricks there. But yeah, fair play. Make your girlfriends happy, boys. Well done.
Guys, I've got a question for you. I've been putting it off for 20 minutes now. But no more will I put this off. I need to know, what's the story? Someone else make this segue funny.
The impossible segue. The goon sax.
It's off.
Oh, you're not funny. You're not funny.
Because it only works in a visual context. You can't say it any other way.
You are lower in my ranking than Ian Sterling after that, and
I'm
everyone
trying to
knows
think
how
of
much
an
I hate
opinion.
that man. I was watching Love Island last night. And honest to God, there was 4 times where I thought of a joke that was funnier than him, and he is getting paid to do it. Even one of the contestants said the joke that I said
Yeah,
in
he
his
must be
thing.
bored by now. He's been doing it for so long.
Oh,
boring
he's
job.
so shit. But yeah, the goons have
I'd
sacked
be
it
going
off.
brain dead though if I was watching Love Island. To be
Yeah,
fair.
fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play.
And you have to say something about it. Imagine watching it and having to give commentary on it.
Yeah. Oh look, this person's walking.
Goon sacks have split up.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
if you
the
didn't
point
get
we're trying
that.
to make here.
They've sacked it off. Sacked it off.
Yeah.
That was the joke.
That
If you
would've
see it
been better.
visually, it almost makes sense.
They've sacked it off. Yeah.
That's it. They've announced they're splitting up after, I think they said 9 years they've been together, something like that. 2
Crazy.
albums, I believe they've released. Most recent one being The Mirror 2. That is purely off memory. I don't know if that's true.
I feel like you're right.
Maybe I am.
I feel like you're right.
With 1 or 2 good songs on it.
Literally.
But yeah, that's it. They were booked in for a few festivals, I believe. They were also booked in to play with Pavement on some shows somewhere. And they're not doing it. They're not playing with
Which is fucking mad.
Oh,
Why would you turn
not
that
doing that.
opportunity down?
But apparently they're going to play a few shows in Australia, local shows and stuff, kind of like a final hurrah. That's not what it is.
Is there something more going on with this? Because I feel like if the shows are booked, you've
You
got
honour
these
them.
dates set in stone
Yeah,
and
someone's
it's
got it, haven't they?
happening. There's got to be something going on, surely, that we're just not being told about.
It's probably just something that one of them's quit and they thought, fuck it, or they've argued, or they're just not feeling it anymore, I suppose.
I
But then
don't.
but then they're doing gigs to finish it off.
Yeah.
So that can't be the case.
I mean, they
surely.
could do 1 or 2 last shows without their usual bass player. I suppose, couldn't they? You know
That's
what I
an
mean?
assumption, that Liam. It's always the bass player that's
You
the
know.
problem.
Bass players are pretty pretty disposable. Or maybe the keys player. I don't know. But whatever's happened anyway, there's no more of the Goon Sacks.
All right.
It's sacked off.
Always, which are a group we're going to be covering
Alvvays.
later on, but they've announced their 3rd album, Blue Rev, which is coming out 7th of October. Oh, this is interesting. There's going to be a clash with Sorry.
You don't have to apologise, mate.
No need to
I
apologise.
couldn't even remember what it was.
I said it.
Dave.
I said it.
Did you?
Block my voice out.
Well, I think I blocked you out. They've announced their album as well, Anywhere But Here. And if you couldn't tell from the whole thing I just did there, that's also coming out the 7th of October. So I know which one we'll be covering.
Yeah, always.
And finally, the 1975 are releasing their 1975th album. More of the 1975, which will feature a track called the 1975 that'll be 19 minutes and 75 seconds long. That's coming out in the year 1975. No, the album's going to be called Being Funny in a Foreign Language. And that's coming out October 14th. So,
excitement.
Look forward to that.
Yes.
Can I drop in back on if we're done or if we're not done? Tell me. About
We're
the
done, I think.
Goon Sacks.
We're
The
done
Goon
with this
Sacks.
podcast. You're out.
They were also due to support Spoon and Interpol. They were supporting Pavement, Spoon, and Interpol, and they've dropped them all. That is something's happened there.
One of them's
You've got to-
done something dodgy, and they know it's going to come out at a certain point, and so they're trying to get ahead of it.
This is potential, Yanni. Don't be throwing accusations around. We don't get sued again.
Well, this segment is a question, So
we're trying to find out what is the
making
story.
no statements here. Guys, I've already made this point. It's fucking hot.
It's fucking hot.
But particularly in the press section. Hot off the press.
What is your press section, Yanni?
I think you know that. We spent enough time in bed
It's
together.
hard, I can
That's
tell you
very
that
true.
much.
That is very true.
Um,
The aforementioned Alvvays have returned with their long-awaited return, and that return comes in the shape of a return single called "Pharmacist."
Christ. We're getting there.
Fucking hell.
That was to emulate the high, the long wait we had before the last track.
I need to
I'm so
return to
hot.
my
I'm going
pharmacist,
delirious.
Are you okay?
Story for you.
Do you need to pop to the pharmacist?
I need to return to my pharmacist. They put someone else's thing in my prescription over there.
In your press area.
Yeah,
my
you didn't
present.
order the Viagra, did you?
No, that was intended. It was the inhaler that I didn't ask for.
This song,
Someone's choking somewhere.
Liam, please. This
Sorry.
song, Pharmacist by the band Alvvays. We're going to talk about it right now. I thought this was, and I don't think I've ever used this word in the podcast, explosive. I thought explosive. I like this, and it feels like it will be a good opener to the album.
Is it the
So I
opener
already-
to the album?
Funny enough, it is.
Wow, that long-awaited return album. Yeah, it sounds like Alvvays, but it does sound a bit grittier than previous Alvvays.
Bit like a dodgy hot dog.
Yeah, precisely like that. I thought the distorted guitar was slightly too high in the mix, even for a shoegaze song. It kind of drowned everything out a little bit too much. However,
Whoa.
I do really like the track, and yeah, big up. Glad to have them back.
Now, have
Big up yourself.
Alvvays had a female singer?
Yep,
Yes.
Molly Rankin.
I've never
She's
listened to
the
them.
head songwriter of the band, I believe.
Wow, congrats. I've never listened to them because I thought I probably have at some point, but for some reason assumed
You'll
a male
know
singer.
some.
So
You'll know Archie,
Uh,
Marry Me Archie, and Dreams
I've
Tonight. and-
definitely heard that song. Yeah. But anyway, this song, yeah, I thought this was pleasant enough. And I liked the guitar solo towards the end. There's a bit all over the place, and it sounded pretty good. I didn't think the guitar was an issue, Callum. So you need to grow up about that particular point. Oh, lovely. And that's that, I suppose. That's just done for this week.
That was my
That
response
is-
to you.
Guys, what's something that the Lounge Society and some Teslas have in common?
Explosive.
Massive interface.
Massive interface. Yeah, no, they require no driver. No Driver is the name of the song by the Lounge Society. First of all, Callum, I'll ask this to you.
Oh,
Have they been listening to me make music?
um,
Because I don't know about you, but the synth at the start sounds very similar to something that I've
yeah, the synth.
shared with you.
Yeah, that's true. But
Hmm.
overall, from my
I've not
limited,
finished, so don't interrupt me.
fuck off.
Yeah, I enjoyed this and feel like we should see this live because it sounds like it's going to pop off with my comments. But I didn't really care for anything else when I went back and listened to other Lounge Society
Yeah, I almost
tracks.
bought their EP the other day because it was very cheap on the website. But I listened back to it, I was like, oh, I actually don't really care about this. So I
Cool.
agree with that point, by the way. That's what I was saying.
No, we've done, by the way. It's not that.
Yanni will put a link to that in the top left corner of the YouTube video right
I'm
now.
not going
One
to
of
do
them-
that.
You
though, that's
are.
the
Have you
thing.
not done it for any of the others?
Top right.
That's-
Yours
I
from
did
top
it
right.
for TV Priest,
Yeah,
but
you
I
did,
didn't
to
do
be
it for
fair.
By the Way.
Well, that's dickhead behaviour. From my limited Radiohead knowledge, this sounds quite Radiohead.
Yeah. I was listening to
Um,
Radiohead
Limited.
yesterday.
Yeah,
Just
I've listened to a bit and I've enjoyed it, but I've
I did.
not gone deep enough.
I
in their
started
press
listening to OK Computer and wasn't very much thrilled. The fact that it's always on like the best album ever lists, I think it's a bit of
That's-
bit too much.
God
But yeah,
damn
this
it.
does sound a bit Radiohead. I get what you're saying there, Cal.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. It was pulsating, it was relentless, and yes, it will sound good live. Let's go and see it. Are
I
they
can't
on
add any more to that.
what record label are they on? Are they on Nice One? They strike me as a nice one.
No, they're with someone else.
Aggressive
Speedy Underground.
Penguin.
Ah, fair enough. Next up,
The
Uh,
Underground.
we've got Hot Chip with the track Eleanor. And if this isn't the most Radio 2 dance track you've ever heard in your life, I don't know what is.
That's a positive
I never
thing,
really gelled with Hot Chip in their heyday, and this has not.
Shut up, Callum.
No, I just didn't. Sorry, and this has not made that
You don't
change.
like Boy from School?
Sorry,
Ready for the floor?
Ready for the
Nah.
floor? Come
I'll
on.
do it.
Just
I'll get down to
constant
it if it comes on, but I'd
bangerage.
never go out my way.
Yeah, I thought, although not bad, I just didn't really care for this.
Yeah,
I basically the complete opposite to you, Jan. Although not very good, I quite like this. So there you go. We're probably actually exactly the same.
We're in the middle there, aren't we?
Yeah. I thought it was alright. I
Um,
got my head bopping. I wouldn't skip if it came on.
Got your head bopping. Christ.
Like a pigeon.
The 1975. Yeah, they're back. The song, part of the band. That's what we're covering.
Take a big drink for this one.
Liam, go first.
Well. Let me tell
I
you.
hate you so much. Just say what you want. You need
I'm
to
trying
say.
to compose my thoughts. You never come to me
Christ.
first.
surely you've got them written down.
Well, usually. I think I realise I've never really listened to 1975 properly. And I don't want to, because anything I've ever heard, I've not enjoyed, and I find all very wanky and very annoying. Now, this single I put on thinking it's going to be annoying, and was shocked to find that I genuinely enjoy it. Now, I do think the lyrics are still quite wanky, but it's actually quite well written, I feel. I quite like his vocals. And musically, stylistically, it reminds me very much of Bon Iver, who Lydia keeps telling me I look like with this cap and beard. Just a lumberjack, basically. And I quite like it.
Wow, that was not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
That's why I
Um,
wanted him
neither.
to go first.
Well, I'll go next because I feel like you're just going to shit on it, Yanni. I like it
Shit
more
on
now
it.
than when I first heard it, because when I first heard it, I thought, "What the fuck is this?" It's definitely a bit of a stylistic change, although every song on an album is a stylistic change. But one thing I am happy about, and I don't know if this is true, but this is going off Genius. The album is only 11 songs, so I'm really hoping
Good start.
that we're going to get a cohesive album,
Solid.
which is very exciting because,
That's not happened since the first one.
well,
Christ.
even that was too long, but it
Mm.
was cohesive, yeah. But there's definitely, obviously, talent, and I'm just hoping that they hone in on it and just
Hmm.
give us a good album, not good songs mixed with shit, because that's what the last one was.
Those good songs on that last one.
There were very
thought
few and
they've
far
released,
between.
like, 4 good songs in their whole career. Is that
They were
right?
very few and far between.
Chocolate
but
was alright back in the day. I listened to it the other day. It's not that good anymore.
I didn't really love it. I didn't immediately hate it like most of their new stuff. I get the Bon Iver comparison. I also put Phoebe Bridgers kind of style.
Yeah,
Um,
get that.
and I think I saw there
They're
was a
mates.
picture recently with whatever his fucking name, Matt Healy.
Yeah, Bo
Was
Burnham was there as
with
well.
Phoebe Bridgers and someone else. Is
Bo
that what you
Burnham.
just said?
well,
Um,
Phoebe
hanging out,
collaborated
so-
on one of their tracks on the last album.
Oh well, you don't need to find out because I'm not that interested. But I'm just
I can't think what it's called, but I know you don't care.
but yeah, so I got those kind of vibes from it. It was different stylistically, but yeah, I feel like I'll probably enjoy it more if the album turns out to be
Mhm.
solid. Because
Okay.
at the moment, I'm kind of just sort of level with it. I don't have negative feelings towards it, but I don't have overly positive ones either.
I think that's a good
Can you
start
check
point.
on your Apple Music, Yanni, if it is 11 songs or if Genius just didn't load
Please
properly?
confirm, Yanni.
Absolutely. Coming right up.
Confirmation
Well,
requested.
Information request has been granted. Turns out it's 11 songs.
Oh,
Wow.
come on.
That's honestly
Coming
the
in.
perfect album then.
You ready? Coming in at 44 minutes.
That
That's
is perfect.
just over Cal's.
Well,
over.
I can accept
Jeez. So
that.
they're all
45 minutes is normally my cap.
the length of
No
this song.
cap,
It's perfect.
bro.
No cap. Not what Liam abides by these days. Next, we have Wet Leg, kind of, with Soul Wax mix of Too Late Now. We'll just insert the video of Tom Hardy and Legend saying, wasting my time. Wasting my fucking time. I came here for a proper shootout.
Yeah, I've put fucking hell, kill me now. This is boring.
Yeah.
So dull.
It reminded
I don't
me.
understand what the intrigue. Why Soul Wax, after 1 minute, thought, I need to continue this.
For 5 more.
Well, why they picked this song? Because I listened back to the original and it's such a dull song. I'm sorry, it's a very very boring song. To then make it equally as boring and longer, twice as long for no reason, to not establish anything interesting, and just genuinely boring. I didn't finish this song. I got to like 4.5 minutes. I was like, well, nothing else is going to happen. What is the
It was
point?
one of those
You were
ones
right.
where if you skip it to any point, it's like you've not
It's-
skipped.
Yeah. Get a grip, Starbucks.
Liam, I really want you to pronounce this band's name that we're covering next.
Van Dusha.
Yeah, that's what I was after, and you gave it to me.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's right. We're covering a song that's been remixed by Yardak. The song is "Greasing Up Jesus." I thought this was quite gorilla-y at points, and unfortunately, I don't think I've really cared for it. I didn't think it was bad.
Wow.
I just didn't get grabbed by anything, which unfortunately has happened a lot this week with stuff.
Did you listen to the original?
I did, and up until a point, the remix sounded pretty much the same, and then there's like the third.
It's like heavier bass
last-
at first. I think.
The last third is different. So yeah, I didn't really. I don't know.
It's interesting that
I didn't
again
care.
they've picked a slower one from the band, from the same as the Too Late Now. Greasing Up Jesus is the closer from At the Hotspot, and the rest of the album's a lot more upbeat. It's a good closer for the album because it is so kind of slow and then builds up towards the end, sort of thing. And I think they did a good job here of kind of pulling those elements and making the whole thing shorter and making it more of a kind of commercial song by kind of just shortening it, cutting to the bit more interesting bit a bit earlier, and then adding their own bits on top. I thought this was a really good remix, really good way of using the song to make it a good song.
Do you know what? I agree with one of you. And that is Liam. I think this remix has made it a lot more engaging. I like that it's halved the length. I just think it just makes it more enjoyable. It's decent. I don't know.
It turns
if
into
I'd
a
ever
single,
go back to it, but
which I
Yeah.
think is a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I do like the very heavy bass through the beginning of it. It just kind of makes that bass really loud.
Very true.
Good.
Next up, Ezra Furman, and the song is Lilac and Black. Guess what? I like this one.
Wow. Well,
I did.
I was originally going to kick off because as much as I've enjoyed the tracks from, I think it was an EP, I was very worried that this was just going to be another one of that. So when it kicked in, I was very happy. It's still very Ezra Furman. Melody is very typical of her previous songs, but that is not a bad thing. I've got one gripe, and it's the pronunciation of lilac.
Yeah, Americans say lilac, don't they?
Well,
That's a thing.
we
in
know my
mind.
thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, go on, Liam.
No, go on. Finish what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah, when everything came in, like you said, it sold me on the track at that point there and then. I was happy to proceed with the rest of it at that point. I like all the little synth parts that come in. There's a bit where there's sort of like, I don't know if it's after like a breakdown, but there's like some weird glitchy synths that happen. The only thing that I wish was better, and yes, it's vocal related, but it's just the not the pronunciation, the recording of the word black. It's just, considering that's like a main word that's used in the song, it's very ropey. I know, obviously, the singing is something that I brought up before, and get used to it. Basically, otherwise you're not really gonna like any of Ezra Furman's stuff. But for me, there was the last time it said it was sung in key, and it would just annoy me that every other time before that, it was sort of like the voice was breaking every time it was said, because I know it could have been said better, and I genuinely didn't have any other gripes with any of the vocals up until that point. So if that was sung better, very much would have enjoyed this song. Instead, I just enjoy the song.
Well, I don't have much more to add other than I agree with what you both said, and I'm also happy that it kind of picked up as well towards the end. I felt like if it stayed as it did through the first half, my interest in the album was disappearing. But yeah, I'm glad she gave us something different before it reaches that kind of too far gone point.
I'm glad you
Yes.
agree. Boys, I've got a question.
Oh.
Go on.
Where was the best place in Rill to have a children's party when you were a child? Not now.
Geronimo's, yeah.
Geronimo's, yes. However, young fathers are only offering us one Geronimo.
What was your favourite part of Geronimo's?
There was like, I was always too pussy for the drop slide, so let's
Yeah,
just
I
get
never
that
did
out
it.
there
Yeah, same.
now. One regret in life. That is not doing the drop slide in Geronimo's. However, I always enjoyed the ladders because I always felt like Badman. That's very
I
pathetic.
hated that. Others.
And there was this bit where there was like two
Please.
round things, and you'd like go through it and then go
Yeah,
down.
like
Yes.
a closed ring
That
around.
was
or
so
something.
tip-top.
That's
That is
exactly
my
what I was
favourite
going to
part.
say.
Yeah. Is that all of
Tip-top.
ours?
Yeah, the one where you go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Head
That was
first into
tip-top.
it.
That was
Yeah.
incredible. That's exactly what I had in
Sick.
mind.
Yeah.
Oh,
glad you
take
said
me
that.
back, man.
And the
Take me
scary
Should we
back.
just go to Geronimo? Should we book it
I'd
out?
love to.
Just for us.
Ne-
We'd be
yeah.
A
far
full
too big for
Geronimo.
any of it.
100th main show episode live from Geronimo's.
Yeah.
What do we
We'll
think
get
of
all the listener involved as well.
What did
Go
we
on,
think
Dom.
of this track though?
I like the hook part, and then the latter third of the track, because it became more interesting. But apart from that, sort of very mid.
Very mid. Yeah, it did niche for me. It was too repetitive, in my opinion.
I think I quite liked it. And again, I like like you said, Yanni, the hook and the kind of the end part of it. But I wouldn't say it's one that really kind of stands out. I'm interested to see what they do next. I feel like it's got the potential for something like a, in terms of like emotional feeling from it of Gang of Youths or something like that. I feel like it sounds almost in that realm. Do you know what I mean? Or even TV Priest.
No,
Just okay.
you've lost me.
Well, I don't care. But yeah, I feel like we could potentially have an
You
album
lost.
along those lines, which would be nice if they can pick it up a bit.
Yes. Black Midi with the song Sugar Zoo.
Probably right.
Is that how you'd say it? I mean,
Who are you asking,
if
Jan?
you if you actually spoke the language properly, I mean, you definitely wouldn't pronounce it like that.
I mean, we
but,
do have
Chew,
a
maybe?
resident language man in this recording.
Potentially,
So-
like it's Chew, maybe.
Sugar Chew.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely knows that's how you say it.
So-
I sent you a video before.
How was
This was the song. I still don't get them. I I don't get how you can get enjoyment from this. I hate every time we have to listen to Black Midi. Every single time.
You are wrong. This was very, 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 very good, in my opinion. The structure is getting there. It is so much more of a song. And I just think everyone played very well. Morgan Simpson, every time. Just more applause for you, Morgan. Big fan.
So I've actually heard this before today.
God, you are so illegal.
Yeah, tell me about it. I've heard the album. But I'm not going to mention anything about that unless you ask. I think that this is, I kind of mirror what you're saying, Cal. Maybe I don't love it quite as much as it seems you do, but I agree with the point you've made. That's about all I can say.
Shoot me.
Oh, dirty bitch.
Interpol, you know it. With the song Gran Hotel.
I love Hotels for the Grands.
You are our resident granny basher. This song, this sounds more brutal than I actually intended it to. Didn't have any element in it that grabbed me whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm the same. I enjoyed it, but it didn't do anything really. Kind of sounded like bad 2008 editors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all right though.
I feel like we've said this before about other bands, but it sounds quite like Interpol. We finally got an actual Interpol song on the podcast.
He's thought of that, hasn't he?
Yeah, just then. That was off the top of the dome.
Don't believe you.
I quite like this song. I thought it was pretty alright. Yeah. I'm, not offended by it in any sense. I quite like their sound, I think. Just like vocals and
so hot.
Cobs.
Sorry? What you saying?
I'm just wiping the sweat off my face with my sleeve.
Delicious.
Sorry.
I like the guitar sounds, and I just like the sound of this song, and it does take you back to very kind of like 2080. Not 80. That's a long way away. Very futuristic. But yeah, I thought it was alright.
Maybe I was just in a bad mood this week.
God.
Sorry, I guess. Woohoo. They're back again with the song Let the Lights On. I think I did enjoy this. I put here, I can't say I'm overly mad on it, but in retrospect, I think I did actually enjoy it, and it was just me being a bit moody. There were some elements I thought that sounded quite naughty indie rock in there. Can't tell you what, but
kind of a block party sound to it.
Yeah, that might be it. So yeah, I think I did like it. I think
I didn't give this anywhere near the time it deserved. I put it on as I was setting up, so I don't really feel qualified to talk about it. However, there was enough in it that will make me go back and listen, which is a good sign.
The resident sorry guy here, I suppose, is now chiming in. Listen in if you care. I thought this was pretty good. Yeah, quite liked it. I think I prefer it more than the other single they've released from the new album. And well, there we go. That says enough for it. And for itself, And this, you can hear sorry. You can hear the first album from in this, but it sounds different enough that it's got me interested for the next album.
Before we move on, anything to say about Spiral Stairs? Because we're not going to be covering that.
Yeah, I listened to Spiral Stairs' new album, Medley Attack, is it called?
That's the one.
I also listened to Wooloo's new album as well, so I'll mention that on there. Spiral Stairs album. The best song on that album's Hey 70. I think it's an alright album. I just don't think there's anything really stand out about it. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Some of the vocals are quite bad, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I know we kind of looked past that on some of the singles, but some of the other songs aren't great. But it's a nice album if you've got a bit of time, and it's one of those things. If you were cleaning out the garage, perfect. If you're scrubbing your boat, if you're doing some sort of dad activity, it's
well produced and everything sounds well recorded and everything. But like you say, I think it is the vocals that kind of.
Did you listen to it in full?
I got about halfway through.
Yeah. Nothing stand
Yeah.
out. And then Wooloo's new album, which Yanni's going to put up the name for now.
Yeah.
Loggerhead. I think it's called Loggerhead. That was pretty alright.
Yes, it
Quite
is.
samey. It's got a similar style to kind of like the Eve Tumor stuff. Just kind of dark in your face sort of sound, if that makes sense. And I think there's some pretty high moments, but in general it was just pretty flat. Quite samey. Asher Lorenz from Sorry is actually on one of the songs. Doesn't play a massive part though, nowhere near as good as her inclusion on the sports
Getting
theme track.
around, aren't they? Bloody hell.
Indeed. But yeah, again, possibly worth a listen. I would pick them both up on vinyl, if that's any sort of scale of how much I enjoyed them.
I feel like the Spiral Stairs one will be quite cheap at some point.
Yeah, it's already only like 20 quid.
Yeah. Well, when that's in a sale, I think I'd obviously, not obviously, I'd also pick that up.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to a very sturdy, strong,
Rigid.
potentially girthy album spotlight. So, hold on 20 seconds, 15 seconds,
Prepare your caves.
and you'll be right there with us. Insert jingle. Liam,
Hello.
who are we covering?
The Viagra Boys.
That's it.
Yeah.
Viagra Boys they're back. And we're
Solid.
going to be talking about their latest album, which goes by the name Cave World.
I would
Okay?
enjoy a Cave World dedicated to Nick Cave. Like an amusement park.
Well, that's
full
funny you
of
should
Nick
mention
Cave.
him because his
we go.
name is actually, I don't know if you caught on to this, his surname, Cave, is the first word from the title of this album.
What?
Wow, what a
How
coincidence.
weird's that?
What? And
yeah.
he loves Viagra as well, I've heard.
Another
TikTok.
coincidence is that in the vocals, in some places, I got a bit of Nick Cave.
Yeah, same. That's what I was really trying to get at,
Yeah.
but
Wow.
Viagra just got in the way, didn't it? Let's talk about it track by track.
Let's.
And let's explain to everyone why it's not a 9 out of 10, as some people would have you believe. We're going to start by the song Baby Criminal. Now, if you did come across a baby who was a criminal, what would you say is the most likely crime
I'd kill him.
that would have
It'd be a firm drop kick.
Eradicate them before doing
What do you think the most likely crime would be?
breaking
committed?
noise pollution levels?
Extortion.
Extortion, yeah. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some sort of
I'll go with that.
vandalism. Vandalism, probably, yeah. And indecent exposure. Many.
Yes.
All sorts. I was waddling around IB for it too. My Willie hanging out.
Hang her out. You Willie hang her.
Hanging out.
Oh, Willie. Willie. Baby Criminal, let's talk about that now. The song, I think it's a powerful opener
Oh,
to
yeah.
the album.
So it is.
Rigid opener. Solid opener.
Firm.
Veiny.
Stiff.
Yeah, it's all right. The music was good.
full of
Vocals
blood.
were a bit less good, but they were still good. Solid opener.
Yep.
Pardon the pun that time.
Full of blood and ready for a party.
Young, dumb, full of cum.
Is that it?
That's my review, yeah.
Sound.
It's
Next
going to
we
be a
have-
short one, this, I think. We might get
Yeah.
this done in under an hour.
Next, we have the little interlude, Cave Hole.
I've been there. I've been in a cave hole.
Yeah, I don't think I've been in a cave hole since the last time I saw your mum, Cal.
Fucking hell. Don't put that in the teaser. Jesus Christ.
Oh, gosh. Oh,
Absolutely no
gosh.
need. I'm sure you've had one of my mum's lasagnas before. Where's the need for that?
Exactly.
This
This was a this
I'm all
was a
flustered.
nice
Oh,
transition between the two songs, one before, one after. However, pointless. As
Very-
are all of the interludes on this album.
I don't
Very
think
pointless.
so. It's a bit. it works well, I think, and it's actually quite interesting thing to do to put it as the straight after the first song. I think like you've got this intro, and it's like right, we're leading you in. I feel like that's quite
I have to disagree
interesting concept.
so powerfully with what you're saying.
That is one adjective to use. It's not one I'd use. Pointless. Although it was a lovely transition into Troglodyte, which is the next track, and I can confirm it still stonks.
I forgot we covered this. Some of the vocal performance on this just doesn't sit well with me, and
Oh.
for that reason, I'm out.
Stonk denied.
I love the yeah that part. Love that.
Oh,
The chorus.
I must have left the track on.
I know it was pitch perfect. I know, but I absolutely love that. That really, every time I hear it, I go, "Oh, I really push the
Liam,
boat here."
Leave your cap alone.
I can't.
You're
I'm sweating, I can't
you're gonna
take it off.
have a receding
No cap.
hairline with how much you are.
He already is.
taking
But I'm
that
pushing
hairline.
forward. Shouldn't be.
There's no saving that hairline, mate. Punk rock loser. I just put don't like this.
No, this is number 1 on their Spotify. For plays.
It's the last
Obviously, it's
single,
like
though, isn't
yeah, but I thought this was naff.
Yeah, it was
Boring.
Is naff.
I think it's all right. I think though, sorry to.
What realm are you coming from?
No,
It's
like,
not
I think
sorry,
it's
mate.
all
It's
right.
Viagra Boys.
I don't think it's great. I think it's all right. I like some of the sounds in it, but I was just going to touch on a point you made before, Yanni, about forgetting that the Troglodyte was a single, and I think that's an interesting thing to touch on because, from the singles and when we covered them, it felt like when one came out every few weeks, it was the same song coming out every few weeks.
Mm.
And I do think, in the context of this album, they differentiate themselves enough, and it makes a lot more sense now. This song included, although I think this is the weakest of the singles.
Yep.
Okay.
Good
All right.
point.
Yeah, thanks.
Good point.
Well argued.
Well made. Next one, Creepy Crawlers.
Hey,
I
your
don't
mum's
know.
back out.
Fucking hell.
Sorry.
What would she do if I actually
No.
shown this to Emma? She would batter you both.
I'll just avoid it for the
Oh,
rest
she'd
of my
know
life.
we were joking. Yeah, she can take a joke just as well as she can take my review of this song, which was
it coming?
I don't know where to begin with this. That's what I wrote, and I don't know what I meant by that. But probably I didn't enjoy it.
Was so all the commentary about vaccines on this album is it
Please.
is it ironic or is it
Yeah,
genuine?
I think it's ironic.
Now I've got a point to make about that from the last song, but since you've brought it up, I am sick of hearing about vaccines on this album. Stop mentioning vaccines. It's so annoying to hear it
Yeah.
on this album. It really dates the album, for one.
When we do a classic of this in 20 years' time,
I'm not covering this. I refuse.
has it aged well? No.
It's
The whole thing here is about
It's
like
just so
evolution and how
stupid.
we as a culture have kind of looked after ourselves or not, and that kind of all plays into that, doesn't it? I think that's the whole point of this album. Thank you. They're actually going to put that on the blurb or the back. Albums don't have blurbs, but if they write a book, they can use it. But yeah, no, the whole vaccine thing, I assume it's ironic because it definitely sounds ironic. It doesn't sound genuine. It doesn't sound like Kid Rock. Thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's just a bit like, all right, yeah, okay.
we had
Something
the
else
point.
now. You know what I mean? Like, shut up. Shut the
It was
fuck
like
up.
all the references to fucking apes and stuff that
Oh,
happened in
doesn't
pretty
end.
much every song.
Yeah.
It made it feel like it was the same song because it kept on referencing the same thing.
It's
I
just
get there's a
cohesive,
point
isn't
of
it?
trying to make an album cohesive and have like a through line, but this was like the extreme of that. Of like you just bringing up the exact same thing, making the same point.
A lot of the same words, a lot of the same lines throughout the album. There was even like just the word future was thrown around a lot, which isn't necessarily like, I guess that is part of the story, quote unquote. But it just didn't feel very inventive in the kind of lyrical department for most of it. Apart from what a song we'll come on to in a bit. But yeah, for this one, yeah, shut up about vaccines.
I thought this was a bit of a
next
pickup
one.
from Punk Rock
Okay.
Loser, but I didn't really care for it. Nor did I care for the cognitive trade off hypothesis. I struggled with that one.
Ooh, interesting.
It was
Well,
it was decent,
yeah.
but I just don't care. You know. Sorry, but I just don't.
Well, funny enough, this is the first track that grabbed me
Wow.
immediately. As soon as it started, I thought, "Oh, okay, interesting." Um, I feel like it something from like mid to 2010s pop is what I put. Like the style of the music. I can't quite describe exactly what it was about it,
like
but please give me the comparison because I feel
I'm
like it
feeling like
sounded like
Naked and
something.
Famous, or
Could be
like
that.
MGMT. That's a bit earlier. Well, maybe I'm off. I don't think it sounds like either of those, but that's the kind of.
I don't know. I got some kind of vibe from it anyway.
Okay.
The only thing that I said was sort of negative about this was that it just went on for too long.
Yeah, I agree. It went
song.
on a bit too long, but I quite enjoyed this one. I've listened to this album twice. The first time, this one I actually was like, "Oh, this is boring. This is going on too long." And then when I listened to it again today, I actually quite enjoyed this one. I don't know what the difference was, but I like the way he sings the chorus. I like the music element of it. And again, it's very specific lyrics to what they're kind of going for. This one especially. But yeah, I thought this one was pretty alright.
And then we have Glow Birth, which is another interlude. I'm not going to waste any time on that. I thought it was pointless. Liam probably doesn't.
No, that one
It
is
does
pointless.
transition well into Ain't No Thief.
It does.
But at that point, you put it at the start. Same thought as when we reviewed this. I still like this one. I like the lyrical content because it is different. And it's funny. And
Yeah.
I like the musical elements of this as well. This would probably be my favourite of the album.
I agree with you there.
This one, I didn't really pay any attention really to the lyrics, apart from the ones you kind of catch when listening to it when we covered it as a single. But when listening to it today, the lyrics are great. Like really funny. Like some of the bits like towards the end of like, my granddaddy got me a lighter exact same as yours and created one the same as yours or something. It's just quite a funny concept.
It's a slapper, as we say here in Fool's Land. Big Boy is next, featuring Jason Williamson from Sleaford Mods.
Yep.
And that is a feature I think works extremely well.
Yes.
The track itself was all right, and then I wasn't paying attention. And then when I heard Jason's voice come in, I was like, oh yeah, I'm grabbed again. Maybe I just like Sleaford Mods. Who knew? But overall, the track, it was all right. But I would have preferred it to have just been Jason, to be honest.
I like this one. I like the bass line in it. It's cool. It was kind of sort of like walking pace, but like in a good way. The interesting parts throughout it even. The Sleaford Mods inclusion was good. I enjoyed it. Which probably is a surprise because I don't think I've been that complimentary on any Sleaford Mods we covered. And I liked towards the end when there was like a sort of weird 90s house sort of music that was being incorporated into the song.
Like Fatboy Slim song.
Yeah.
Towards the
end. But yeah, I like this one as well.
I just wish there was more Jason Williamson, to be honest. I feel
Can't
like
listen to Sleaford Mods.
It must be as I've listened to some Sleaford Mods recently. I think that must be, part of getting old. But I watched their set at Glastonbury and enjoyed it, and Lydia was thoroughly not enjoying it. But yeah, when I first saw this and like the little video they put out of it, I haven't seen an actual music video, but them as like kind of like video game character looking things, I thought it was pretty cool. And yeah, I just was shocked that he only came in after like the 4-minute mark or something, and hardly did anything because I feel like that's a good inclusion, just like I thought Amy Taylor was in the last album. Again, I'm sure you would both agree with this. Not the best use of Amy Taylor. I like that song personally, but I think the same with this. Not the best use of Jason Williamson. And I just think, who's next? Probably Billy No Mate or something. I feel like we're just in the same circle of the same artists all joining each other's songs and stuff. But I would very much enjoy Billy No Mate on these songs. But yeah, anyway, this song, It should have been more.
Nice. Next we've got ADD. This was boring.
I've lost my notes. It was all right. I liked the hook despite it being repetitive. But yeah, it didn't stand out amongst ones that I didn't really enjoy. So probably agree with you.
Same. Mirrors.
Cool. Then we've got Human Error, which is the last of the interludes from the track. Bit glitchy. Then goes into Return to
Monkey.
Which is, unfortunately, I've covered the comment that I made. But yes, I am sick of hearing about vaccines on this album. And I just didn't really care about this track, to be honest with you. At this point, I was just wanting to finish.
Yeah, I agree. I think the intro to this track promised a lot, and it didn't really live up to that. It was a decent ender. I can see why they chose it out of the tracks, but overall, kind of sums up the album, really. Just a bit, bit of nothingness.
I think just to quickly touch on the interlude before this, the same with the other two interludes, it does a good job of calm before the storm sort of thing. I think they really worked that well. I do agree they're all too long, but still did that well. I guess the intro of this song also leads into it, but yeah, I quite like this one. I think it's all right. I like the Loose Sighted Be a Monkey thing. I think that sounds pretty cool, and I reckon this would be very good live. As I'm sure they're great live, to be honest. I'm sure if you see Viagra Boys live, they're probably one of the best live bands.
Who?
Viagra Boys is?
Sorry.
If you see the Viagra Boys live, they'll probably be the best live band you've ever seen, regardless of whether you like their music or not. And I think this would definitely stand out
That's
live.
a bold statement.
Well, I think it's true.
Unless you like Lewis Capaldi.
Yeah. But it's the same thing.
Wagon
like,
wheels.
It's the same thing as like when we would say Fontaine's DC, Yanni. And
That's me.
I know you were quite lukewarm, and I was only just a bit. I was tepid. Tepid's very hot. Is tepid hot?
Could you put a baby criminal in there?
You can if it fits. But yeah, same concept. But yeah, that's the album. Yeah.
That is the album.
That is the album. Now we must rate. So, Colin, give me your rating.
Well, it's not a 9, that's for sure, Mr. Fantano.
Yeah,
I'm looking at you. 5.
Okay, Liam.
A lot of this is based on the big jump from my first listen to the second listen. Maybe that's influencing the score a bit too much, but I'm saying 7.
Okay. I don't understand what your comment was trying to get at there, because
he likes it more because he knows that Fantano
shocked.
rated it a 9.
No, that's not true. It's not true at all. I didn't say I didn't like it in the first place. I just said it wasn't that interesting. I did not once say I didn't like it. The first time I listened to it, the second half, I was very much not paying attention or enjoying it. No, I was bored, is what I'm saying. The second time I listened to it, I enjoyed the first half and I enjoyed the second half.
You knew you had to be entertained.
No.
Are you not entertained?
And I was shocked by that. And so I think maybe I'm riding on a bit of a high there in that sense, if that makes sense. Maybe once, if you ask me again in a few days, it's only a 6 or something, but right now it's a 7.
I don't care at that point. It's here and now, baby.
Well, I'm giving it a 7. 2 weeks controversial reviews.
Okay. Well, Cal, it's a 5.
It's 5.
I don't think it's a 5. I think you both.
It definitely is, though.
5.
It definitely is a 5.
Well, I gave something a 5 last week, and you were both like, nah.
Yeah, you were wrong.
Yeah,
that's
but
why.
you were
What
wrong.
was that last week? Don't even remember.
Neither do you.
I can't remember.
I'm going to check it out right now because I want to make a point. Not loading though. We covered Paolo. Oh, I said Paolo's a 5. I think this is a better album than Paolo's album.
That's
definitely
a
not
joke.
a 5.
I think there are much better songs on. The problem with this album is it works, I think, very well as an album. There's no standout songs. The Viagra Boys album. And that's what doesn't make it any higher. Paolo's album had 3 very good songs and the rest was boring.
But very good songs is an understatement.
Yeah, but you
3
can't.
potential songs of the year.
But we're recording the album. We are reviewing the album. Review those songs individually. They are an 11 out of 10 minimum. But the album isn't. And I think the flip side for Viagra Boys.
Talking to Paolo, Acid Eyes is much better live.
Yes. And
I think it's pretty good
Shine
too.
a Light, even though I already sort of like that
He
one.
finished.
That was
He
a
finished on that, didn't he?
good.
Mm.
Yeah, I thought it was a good.
I
nice
didn't watch
closer.
it, but I thought it was strange just seeing it at the bottom. It seems like a strange closer.
No, it worked. It worked. Liam, please,
Go on
Mr. Average Man,
Mm-hmm.
give me the mean of those scores.
That would be 5.
The mean?
Oh, were you doing this the wrong way around?
I
You always
know.
saw the mode. I was
And I caught you out,
confused
didn't
then.
I? You're not paying attention to me.
I don't ever. 5.6 recurring, I think,
Okay. And the mode,
is 5.
and the median,
Is 5.
and then, I mean,
Wow. Field
I
day for the
think-
Range Boys.
the Range Boys are going to have a hard on. What is it?
It's a 2.
Eh,
2
It's a
big boys.
sturdy 2.
2 big boys.
And that's the podcast.
Yep.
That's it. That's all we do. There's no other segments, so jog on.
I'm sat here in a pool of my sweat.
Dying.
If you like the video, show us that by actually liking the video on YouTube. Click the like button right now. Go and subscribe. Ding the bell so you know when we upload. We're putting out
Bare content.
bare content at this point. Not bare content. We've not got a bear.
I'm a
It's
bear.
just a lot of content.
I think I could classify as bear.
Unless you class Liam as a bear with all that hair on his fair. And leave a comment about what you think is correct and what isn't about what we've said. Mainly Liam being completely wrong. It's not a 7, it's a 5. And if you're not watching the video, then you can find it on YouTube if you type in Fools on the Hill podcast. If you are watching the video, going back and forth here, go to the description. You'll find all the links that I'm about to read out. Instagram and Facebook, find us at Fools on the Hill podcast. Twitter at Fools on a Hill pod. And that's me done.
Well, on that
And me.
note, thank you, Yanni. Thanks for
You're
that. We're everywhere. That's the point. We're everywhere. And we're with you,
Yeah.
and we always will be. And please, stay with us. And come
More
back next
people
week.
join the party.
Join the party, open your caves, get some Viagra in there. Have a good weekend,
Bye bye.
probably.